morning, YouTube. Today I'm gonna push back snowbanks with the tractor. We've had a lot of small storms lately where we've gotten 2 or 3 inches and it just keeps on piling up, and now it's to the point where the driveway is narrowing up, so I will push back the banks a little bit. And as you can see, the bank up here at the top is getting pretty high, probably 10 or 12 feet high from snow. That's just up in the main parking area of our driveway. One of the spots I push it. RX1, I got to get that going today. The other sled is parked out back. One of the grandkids is gonna take it for a ride with his girlfriend today. But first, I have got to get into there. We've got a bunch of stuff stored in there, and my wife can't find her bunt pan. And my wife can't find her bunt pan. So I'm gonna look in there for it. Wish me luck. I'll be back in a bit. All right, I'm gonna talk just a little bit before we get pushing snowbanks back. One of the advantages of this setup is the distance the plow is out in front of the front tires. I'm gonna take you out there and show you right now just how far out it is. And the advantage there is I can push the snow way back over the bank without the tires dropping down off the driveway. So let me show you. Here's the tires. There's the plow. There's quite a distance there. And you can lift that plow up and you can turn it up so you're lifting the snow up and out. I know with a truck there's quite a distance there, but with a truck you've got that front end that's really low, and if it gets hung up on a bank when you're trying to push the snow back, it doesn't work out well. I'm gonna put you looking out the front here, and we'll push back some snowbanks. I might go down and push up. I'll try from the top. It's a little easier to control what you're doing with the tractor if you're pushing up the hill rather than down the hill. I might just plow down the hill and then push it back up. All right, let's get after it. Got a what we call a champagne stow last night. Very light, fluffy. Usually doesn't really affect much, but it'll pack down and make it slick sometimes. I'll just blow it off. Only take me a couple passes here. I've talked about this in prior videos, but the wind blows from left to right, and you'll end up with a big drift on this side, on the left side, if you make your snowbank over there. So I always try to push everything off to the right as we're going down the driveway. friends asked me, he lives out in the Midwest, he asked me what I had for weight on this. I leave the skidder winch on all winter for the most part, and all 4 tires are loaded. I know those front tires are a little worn, but they do for now. Actually a pretty nice day today. It's probably in the mid-20s. A little bit of a, like I said, a champagne snow falling every now and then. We'll get a flurry that comes through. But blue skies here and there. It's really a nice day up here. I really feel bad for the people down in Texas. They're really not used to this kind of stuff. We live it all winter long. It doesn't really affect us. We've really got to get a bad storm for the school to close, and or they lose power or something like that. But our infrastructure is set up for cold weather. They're really not. It's bad. I would hate to be without heat. If the power goes off at our house, we've got a really good wood stove, and we just crank it right up and let her rip. I also have a generator that'll run the, we've got a Renai wall unit, and I can run that on a little Honda EU generator, and it works great. To own a camp over on the other side of the town we live in, and we had the Humphrey gas lights in there, and I really like them. I think I'm gonna put them in the new house, even though we'll have electricity. I still love those Humphrey gas lights. You can get those on Amazon. They're about $100 a piece, but they're really neat. They let off a really good light. They're quiet. They're not like a Coleman lantern light that has that jet engine sound to them. This is what I'm going to do all the way up the hill. Just going to kind of push it off. so when the next storm comes, I have room to put it somewhere without pushing it off to the right hand side as we go up the hill. I can't stress enough how much it drifts. When I lived out in Missouri, the snow would, if we got a snowstorm there, the road that we lived on would drift right in. And it'd be days. They'd have to bring a grader or a bulldozer in to get it bulldozed out. I can remember walking to work, which was a farm not too far down the road. I don't know. It was close enough that I didn't feel bad about walking, because you just couldn't. I had a big four-wheel drive truck at the time, and there's no way it would have gone down that road. But that's what this is like. If you put the snowbank on the right-hand side, it would be sealed in hard, because the wind just blows down this valley that we live in, and the snow comes across our field, and it just drifts right in. Creep it up to the maple tree there without killing it. That maple tree isn't big enough to tap yet, but 5 or 6 years it'll be. If you watched last weekend's video, you'll see that Troy talks about how big the maple trees are before he'll tap them. And he said he'll put one tap in at about 8 inches. Another advantage that I have with the tractor is it's got some fairly aggressive chains on the back, so if the front end does drop over, I've got plenty of traction to pull it out. That, and I have a forestry winch on the back. If I need to, I can pull this right out. Doesn't matter where it is, it'll pull out. Kind of a time-consuming process, but pays off. And that's an advantage that you have with a snowblower, is you don't have to do this because the snowbank is much further back. I used the snowblower on my old tractor last winter on this, and it makes it so there's no definitive edge to the road. And one of my friends came over, and there was a few cars parked up in the parking area up above, and he decided he'd back down. He backed right off the edge of the road, right down here. took quite a bit to get him out. He has a, I don't know, an extended cab Tundra, and it got in pretty deep. But it's not really his fault. You couldn't see that front tire just dropped right off. You can't really see where the edge of the driveway is when it's been cleaned up with a snowblower, because there again there's no edge. Matter of fact, doing this will make it a little sketchy as it is, but next snowstorm there'll be another little bank on the edge. A lot of guys that plow that don't have some sort of piece of equipment to push the bank back, on heavy plow years they'll hire a grader to come in and wing back their banks for them. Certainly the town has it. That's essentially what I'm doing, is winging back the bank so I can get more snow out there without it creeping into the driveway, and you have a driveway that you can barely put a Prius down. Just keeping the driveway at full width. Another little maple tree, not quite big enough. It'll come though. These are what I call bucket trees along the driveway. We put old sat buckets on and they do pretty good. Certainly wouldn't run a pipeline down it, but it looks good with the buckets. With them out here, they're handy. I'm not tapping many trees, so I don't need to get after it like Troy did this week. He's still tapping trees, where I can wait until there's warm weather in the forecast and whip out here and throw up, you know, a dozen buckets on the trees. Once I put the pipeline back together up in the woods, then we'll start tapping early again. But right now, building a house, I don't want to take the time to get out in the woods and tap trees. But it's certainly a resource that I am going to take advantage of once everything's settled around the homestead here and my wife has a house. That maple tree right there, we tapped that last year and it did good. And you got those two there. I don't know, they kind of blend together, but those are two good, really good trees. Tree that's in that snowbank there, that did really good last year too. Starting to get into the bank there from the up above. One more push. We got it. Now I'll go down the hill and clean it up a little bit. Buried. So that's tractor's view of pushing back the banks. It's one of the chores that I had scheduled for this weekend that I wanted to get taken care of. After that wet, heavy snow we had last week, it kind of made it for a pretty solid bank there that I wanted to get pushed out. I know a lot of views on these tractor videos. Probably nothing that my sisters will watch, but you know, you guys that are interested in tractors or what a plow will do, this is one of those things that you can really capitalize on, using the blade of the tractor to push back those snowbanks that are starting to close in. Like and subscribe, and if you know other tractor people that might be interested in this, you know, share it with them. And have a great day.